Hare Krishna. I don't know how come I got kicked out of the meeting myself. ठीक है, ठीक है. All right. Sorry for that little disturbance. Let's start now. Sorry. Abhishek, who's okay? All right. Sorry for that all technical glitch. Now let's offer prayers together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Naruttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtraprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vasatade Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone for today morning discussion. We are reading from third canto, chapter number 10. Titled as Divisions of the Creation. Chapter 9 was the prayer for rendering the service, Brahma's prayer for creative energy, where Brahmaji prayed to the Lord. Does anyone remember what did he pray? We were discussing about as a practicing devotee, what we should pray actually. There are different stages of prayers at different times in our life. When we are just a neophyte sadhaka, then we have certain kind of prayers. When we have grown up in our Krishna consciousness, I'm not saying we are no more neophyte or something, but I'm just saying we have gotten our services, responsibilities, then we have another kind of prayers. So that's what we kind of saw, that Brahmaji offering a prayer. Anyone remembers what are the prayers made by Brahmaji? The prayer was empowerment in the service. My dear Lord, thank you for giving me this service opportunity. Now kindly give me the empowerment to render the service. Now that was one thing. What was the other thing? Now if there is an empowerment given in the service, then there are chances of I becoming proud. Because of conditioned nature, we again and again fail to see the connection between us and the Lord. Then what does Brahma says? My dear Lord, also keep me humble, keep me protected, so that I do not become proud. This is so important and relevant for all of us. At least for those now who have some managerial or some kind of preaching services. This is text number 22. 22 to 24 was subject matter. Let me not get distracted. Let me not become, please empower me. Let me not become proud of my service. And third, let me not get distracted. And the fourth, kindly direct me. It's if you look at it, I mean, this is how the people get distracted from their devotional life. So first, we begin to make a prayer. Please give me service engagement. When we get service engagement, we also pray to the Lord. Please give us the empowerment, the necessary skills, so that we can render service properly. Let's say we get that. With that, obviously, when you have a fan following, people come and touch your feet, people glorify you. Please understand, the greatest risk of us getting distracted of glorification is not from the devotees, but generally from the neophyte sadhakas. Whatever we speak, we are studying Prabhupada books. My experience of life and what I have seen so far, somehow our words create a very profound impact on certain individuals, particularly beginners. And they find it, wow, we have never heard such kind of thing, such a clarity. Even somebody who have just attended our preliminary course, let's say 6 sessions on Bhagavad Gita or something, even he can speak many, repeat pretty interesting concepts. We have to be careful and always remember that this is not my knowledge. When people at large would hear, those who have certain piety, they will become very attracted. And they'll begin calling you Guru. You are my Guru, you are my Guru. Now that's where the chances of false ego. Oh, and I've seen people, those who are sentimental and emotional, they will begin telling, this is all grace of my Guru. This is all grace of my Guru. I mean, I just don't understand. Is the grace of the Guru only limited to you? What about those who are not literate, who are illiterate devotees? In other words, those who are not very much intellectual, who perform, let's say, a house lady. She performs her housework nicely. She chants around. She does her service. She takes care of the family. She doesn't have grace of Guru because she is not doing prachar. Because somebody is doing prachar, somebody is having followers, he or she only has a grace. I don't know from where this idea has come like that. So therefore here Brahmaji says, all right, now you have empowered me. Please protect me from the false ego, from the pride that would come from the bhakti shakti. And if in case your pride has not been addressed in time, which is the greatest challenge, ब्रह्मचारी का तो फिर भी हो जाता है. Congregation का who is there to do that really? They are all on their own if they're doing their programs, etc. Now, if there is nobody to really, tame them, humble them, bring them to realization, this is all you're repeating Prabhupada, therefore anyone is listening to you. Who would have listened to you? तुम कितना पहले बोलते थे, कौन सुनता था तुम्हें? Then such a person would naturally get distracted. What was the next stage? I don't need anyone. Just like, remember, Nivritti Prabhu? You were the one who showed that devotee from Bombay who started his own parampara. Somebody brought it to me, na? Right? You brought it?
Yeah.
I mean, he's even younger than I. He's younger than I, and he has created his parampara now, starting from Krishna, Brahma, up to Srila Prabhupada. And after Prabhupada, he's sitting. He has a proper parampara chart. He has a proper website. Okay. He's doing some preaching here and there. And fantastic website. He is with a sannyas danda. अभी ब्रह्मचारी हुए कुछ साल नहीं हुआ, संन्यास का डंडा पता नहीं सपने में लिया कैसे लिया, संन्यास डंडा लेकर खड़ा है वो, और उसके नीचे दूसरी फोटो है, एक वाइट में भक्त खड़ा है, गुरु महाराज. I mean, अच्छा खासा पीडीसी के दिन भी खत्म नहीं हुए उसके, और जल्दी जल्दी सैफरन दे दिया, पता नहीं क्या करके. So this is what happened. So next stage is how your mind is. I don't need anyone. My prachar is going very nice. I have many followers. They're listening to me. My classes are hit. I will tell you, this is the greatest risk in bhakti. The greatest risk in bhakti is to be over-intellectual, to be able to present the subject matter in a very various ways. It's very risky, because, जैसे कुत्ते की पूंछ टेढ़ी की टेढ़ी रहती है ना, हमारी कंडीशनिंग भी वैसी है। हम लोग आके भक्तों के सामने झुकेंगे, आई एम सो हम्बल, आई एम सो हम्बल, बट योर सटल बॉडी इज हाईली एरोगेंट, completely filled with false ego. So Mother Kamakari, one of my great inspiration back in those days in America, she would always come and cook in the kitchen, Prabhupada disciple, and she would never speak. Then I asked her, Mother, you're the most qualified person in the whole community. All your life you have served Prabhupada. You should speak. Why young people have to speak? We would like to hear from you. And she said something very profound that really touched my heart. And she said, Prabhu, I am able to continue in bhakti is all mercy of the Lord. I said, okay, yeah, that's all mercy of the Lord. What do you mean? She said, I was gifted. Gifted with what? With less intelligence. In other words, not intelligent, less intelligent. I mean to say, I was not so intellectual where I could memorize shlokas, so many, where I could present concept from this way, that way, that way. So I could never become proud of my bhakti shakti. And because I could never become proud of my bhakti shakti, I continue to render simple, humble services. I have continued in my devotional life. I have seen many come, many leave. And those who largely leave are those who are making some gadar scene on the field. You got it, na? Gadar, right? अभी gadar ही आई ना? हाँ ठीक है, नंबर छोड़ो जो भी है, but that's a gadar concept ना? वो क्या था? हैंड पंप उठाकर उसी ने कहा ना गदर मचा दिया, हिंदी में कहते हैं ना गदर मचा देना करके, ये वही है। तो जो सड़क पे गदर मचा रहे थे भक्ति शक्ति का, आज वही नहीं है. So I mean all this I'm saying because yesterday I had to handle in case I was talking to the devotee, trying to pacify and calm the devotee down. बस बहुत हो गया प्रचार आपका, थोड़ा just go in the background and do little menial services. Don't be so much out in the world and deal with the material energy. You will get drifted. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stay back, stay back. Just do a little bit, come back. Don't think because people are listening. I said, if you think people are listening, imagine how much program we can do. Getting an audience is so difficult. If you have some sense of speaking and some skill set, you can do that. But it's very dangerous. So do not aspire for that I should become a very successful preacher. You have not joined, you're not practicing Krishna, you're not chanting Hare Krishna to become a successful preacher. Why you're doing it? To become a bhakta. To become a bhakta. Somebody who does a deity worship, somebody who does a backup, somebody who cleans the floor, is he or she a less bhakta than you? But you're saying that. If you're saying, I want to become a successful preacher, you're saying that, that's what you're thinking. And why are you demanding to be a successful preacher when you don't have preaching service back in Goloka? Which means you don't want to go to Goloka. Which means you want to remain in this world and you are using the Bhakti Shakti for your own sense gratification. Yes or no? Who have told you, you have to become the best of the preacher? Go and do preaching, come back. No, I want to become the best of the preacher. I want to have this program, that program. Very risky, very risky. So Brahmaji's prayer, what a profound prayer actually. Please give me service, please empower me, let me not become proud, and let me not get distracted. And then finally thing, kindly direct me. बोला गया है करो, बोला गया नहीं करो वापस आ जाओ. That is the right attitude. But when somebody becomes attached, my programs, which means he is already on his way of distraction. So you all can contemplate more on this. Text number 25, kindly direct me. All right. Let's continue with the subject matter, chapter 10. Brahmaji have prayed. Lord Krishna, O Vishnu has blessed. And does anyone remember what did Vishnu said, Brahma? Something very interesting Vishnu said. Yeah. Hey Brahma, जो प्रार्थना भी आपने करी है, please empower me, please protect me from pride, please let me not get distracted, and please guide me. ये जो profound statements बोले हैं और मेरा जो glorification करा है, ए ब्रह्मा याद रखो, ये भी मुझसे ही ज्ञान आया है. मैंने जब सबसे पहली बार पढ़ा ना, मुझे बहुत बुरा लगा. मैं कहा यार हद होती है यार, ये अपनी प्रेयर पे तो हमारा एक प्रोप्राइटी होना चाहिए. हाँ भाई, सोचो हमारे शुभम प्रभु इतनी बढ़िया पोएम लिखते हैं, और पोएम लिखने वाले होते हैं, ओए सब मैंने दिया है, और बोलेगा यार क्रिएशन मेरी है, सारा क्रेडिट तुम्हारा, बुरा लगे नहीं लगेगा? हाँ जी हाँ. So, I mean, I was like, what is this? Even I cannot make a prayer. Even if I make a prayer, that intelligence comes from the Lord. वो भगवद गीता इसमें सुना, सर्व सच्चाहम इति सन्निविष्टु. कितने को श्लोका याद है? एटलीस्ट 2 लाइनें याद है. कितने को याद है? हाथ खड़ा करो. हाथ खड़ा करो पूरा. याद है ना? तेरे को याद नहीं रे? तू घबरा रहा है हाथ उठाते हुए. याद है श्लोका, but when such kind of things happen, it hurts. Why? It is my intelligence. I did it like that. So that's the point. Anyways, let's continue to start with discussion chapter 10 now. Now, because Brahmaji has prayed, what happens next is the discussion. It's a small chapter, I believe. This has only 30 verses, if I'm correct. 30 verses. ठीक है. Now, Vidurji would ask question. Text number 1. Vidurvacha अंतर्हिते भगवती ब्रह्मलोका पितामह प्रयाससज कथिता दैके मानस विभुः. Vidurji said, O great sage, please let me know how Brahma, the grandfather of the planetary inhabitants, created the bodies of the living entities from his own body, mind, after the disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Vidurji is asking, all right, when Lord Vishnu disappeared, now this is Brahma Murta time is over for Brahmaji now. Brahmaji has to get into his job now. You know, his job has begin now. So his shift starts very early, huh? You guys are still fortunate. You can easily attend whole morning program, attend Aarti, eat Krishna Prasad. अभी तक खाया नहीं बेचारे ने, हाँ? अभी तो खाना पीना कुछ नहीं हुआ, और उसकी शिफ्ट भी स्टार्ट हो गई है. अभी क्या है? He has to bring praja. Now you bring praja, but don't give them accommodation. प्रजा वो करेगी नहीं करेगी, क्या कहते हैं, रैली निकालेगी निकालेगी, मोर्चा निकालेगी निकालेगी. So if he has to create praja, he has to also create accommodation. So that is what they ask. How did he create praja? How did he allocate accommodation like this? So in essence, let me just tell you what's going to happen in this chapter. So to describe, now Brahmaji goes back onto the stem, and then he divides that virtual division, not physically, वो stem को काट नहीं रहे हैं. Virtually he divided that into 14 bhuvanas. So originally our universe is 14-story building, but there is something unique about this 14-story building. 6 are above and 7 are below. If 14 we say, if the Earth is a middle planetary system, you can call it 7 below, 7 above, something like that. And as many buildings are up, as many floors are above, that many floors are below. And the entry point, what is the ground floor? Earth. Earthly planetary system is the ground floor, like that. That is what is described. And then different kinds of living entities have been created. That is described. Text number 2. Ye chame bhagavan prashtas tvayartha bahuvittama tan vadasvanu puryena Chindahina sarva samshaya. A greatly learned one, kindly eradicate all my doubts. Let me know of all that I have inquired from you from the beginning to the end. But one must be confident about the qualifications of his teacher. One should not approach a layman for replies to specific spiritual inquiries. Such inquiries, when replied to with imaginative answers by the teacher, are programmed for wasting time. I'm having this Monday to Thursday classes now for different colleges, right? So every week I take a theme which I want to pounce on, which I want them to drive. So how am I making my presentation is, I'm saying this is the Vedic concept and this is the relevance for you. So this week there are 2 Vedic concepts, but I don't want to speak whole thing, just one point in relation to this. The Vedic concept that we introduced, it is Friday, right? So over this week classes was, if you are in crisis, you can solve this way, that way. But one ultimate way of solving is Shishasyam Sadhimam Tvam Prapannam, taking a shelter. Still, this is not a concept. And the concept is find a guidance. Yet this is not a complete answer. Finding a right guidance. So all of you would have guidance. Something is there, you call your mother and father. Some financial thing is there. Maybe you may call your friends who are into CA or something like that. But what the Vedic concept is finding the right guidance, not only guidance, right guidance. And that is what this was Prabhupada, the purport is saying, not only having a teacher, but having a teacher, right teacher, a bona fide teacher. Then asking question from them is justified, is useful. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. So I kind of concluded our classes this week for the college by seeing a point. So, well, we all need a guidance. We all do have a guidance. All of you use Google Map, whatnot, different guide. I said, but do you have that one right guidance? And the elaboration, extension of this concept is not that right guidance is right for every field. A sadhu has got nothing to do with financial matters. What can he say about financial matter? So our life, the concept which means we should have different guidance for different domains in our life. For example, Grahastha life. What a brahmachari can tell you about how to deal with your wife, how to handle her problems, how to handle her mind. Maybe brahmachari, for example, psychology is my subject, so I can tell you about the psychology. But that's again one-sided only, because that conversation needed to be with the wife also. So what brahmachari is going to sit and talk to the wife? So who do you need now? A congregation couple for resolving the. You getting it? So similarly in our life, we have to find different guides for different domains. And these all then eventually become Shiksha Guru. Arjuna, they would call Guru. Dronacharya was his Guru. If Dronacharya was Guru, then why Krishna? He's saying Shishyasam Sadhimantam Prapanam to Krishna. He could have gone and said Shishyasam Sadhimantam Prapanam to Dronacharya, na? If you think Guru is one. No. Dronacharya was his martial teacher. Krishna became his spiritual teacher. So first for martial knowledge, he didn't go to Krishna. He went to Dronacharya. So like this, we have to have different guides in our life. Here, Vidurji have found a spiritual guide in the form of Maitri Muni. Maitri Muni becomes enlivened hearing this inquiry from Vidurji. Text number 3, Sutta Goswami said, O son of Raghu, the great sage Maitri Muni, thus hearing from Vidura, felt very much enlivened. Everything was in his heart. Thus he began to reply to the questions one after another. Like this. Text number 4. So now Maitri Muni says, what happened after Vishnu disappeared? There's small shlokas we can quickly recite together, and then we'll take it forward. And small chapter also. Text number 4. Maitri Vacha Virinchopi Tatha Chakre Diptum Varsha Shatam Tapaha Atmani Atmanam Avishya Yataha Bhagavan Ajaha. Okay, 1 second. Can we just close the screen for a second, Mother? I just want to see who all are there. Yeah. This is difficult to operate. Hare Krishna. So I need a reading partner. Anyone would like to? Nitai Pran Prabhu? If you are in the capacity to read, I'll recite the shlokas, you read the translations, all right? So let's start with the translation of text number 4.
The greatly learned
Haribol.
sage. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
ठीक है. Oh, ऐसा तो नहीं वो बोल रहे हैं मुझे सुनाई नहीं दे रहा. Sorry, this is Mac. I'm just learning how to use it still.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Sorry. The speaker volume issue at my end. Nitai Pran, go ahead now.
Yeah, okay, Prabhu. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The greatly learned sage Maitri said, O Vidura, Brahma does engage himself in penances for 100 celestial years, as advised by the personality of Godhead, and applied himself in devotional service to the Lord.
Text number 5. Now he performed penance. What did he saw? That's the next text number 5. Tat vilokyabja sambhuto vayuna yad adhishtitaha Padmam ambascha tatkala kritviryena kampitam.
Thereafter, Brahma saw that both the lotus on which he was situated and the water on which the lotus was growing were trembling due to strong, violent wind.
Very, very interesting purport, very important purport. So Brahmaji saw both the lotus on which he was situated and on the water where the lotus was growing and which was trembling due to a strong and violent wind. So Prabhupada takes that as a cue to describe that how this material world is always a place of disturbance. There's always something or other going on. But Brahmaji did not got disturbed because of his strong Bhakti Shakti. So there is always a war going on in a life of a devotee between his practice of Bhakti and against Maya. If somebody is strong enough, he'll be able to handle or tolerate the onslaughts of Maya. If one is not strong enough, he would be carried away or drifted away, like that. And that's how Prabhupada explained this beautiful purport. So how did Brahmaji overcame these tribulations is highlighted in this set of verses now. So Brahmaji, he's in that violent waters. Now what did Brahma do? We all, let's take it our life. We are here in this world. We are on the onslaught of Maya, material energy. What do you do? Srila Prabhupada taught the formula. Attack is the best defense. Attack is the best defense. So let's see what Brahmaji did. How did Brahmaji handle this violent waves of water? And then it'll come to us what means for us. Text number 6. Tapasahi edamanena vidyaya chatma samstaya vivaradha vijnana balo naipadvayam sahambasa. Yes.
Long penance and transcendental knowledge of self-realization had matured Brahma in practical knowledge, and thus he drank the wind completely along with the water.
So what did Brahmaji do? He drank the devastating water only. So best defense is attack, which means you don't go out, get contaminated by them. You go and spread bhakti so that there is no one around who is talking about or is under the illusory spell. You getting it? So you say, Prabhuji, there is so much Maya. Okay, spread Krishna consciousness. Maya would go away. So if imagine you think, no, I'll just go and manage, I'll do my service, no problem. If Brahmaji would have thought, he could have managed his service. He was put in devastating water. No. So what he did? By the strength of his Bhakti Shakti being blessed by the Lord, he drank the whole water. In other words, rather than waiting for it to subside on its own, he attacked. Not enough, you're understanding the word attack here, right? He took a step forward. That's how Prabhupada says for a devotee also, the best way to remain in Krishna consciousness is to share Krishna consciousness. What is the best way to remain in Krishna consciousness? Share Krishna consciousness. All right. That's how we can survive. All right. Text number 7. Tad vilokya viyat vyapi puskaram yad adhishtitam anena lokan praglina kalpitasmi achintayat.
Thereafter, he saw that the lotus on which he was situated was spread throughout the universe, and he contemplated how to create all the planets which were previously merged in that very same lotus.
So this was talks about Sarga and Visarga. And here Brahmaji is acting like a gardener. The original lotus came from the navel of Vishnu. And from that, he takes that seed and he puts it all over the 14 Bhuvana. So he is the secondary creator. That's what is described here. Text number 8. What did he do now? Patmakosham tadavishyam bhagavad karma choditaha ekam vayabhangshid urudha tridha bhavyam dvisaptadha.
Thus engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Brahma entered into the world of lotus, and as it spread all over the universe, he divided it into 3 divisions of worlds and later into 14 divisions.
Text number 9. एतवाजिवलोकस्य संस्थाभेदा समाहतः धर्मस्य हि निमित्तस्य विपाका परमेष्ठसो.
Lord Brahma is the most exalted personality in the universe because of his causeless devotional service unto the Lord in mature transcendental knowledge. Of the devotional service unto the Lord in mature transcendental knowledge. He therefore created all the 14 planetary division of inhabitation by the different type of living entity.
So this is the creation that happens in every day of Brahma. All right. We already discussed about, if you think you're having a little tough manager, think about the manager of Brahma. Every day has to create all the. Can you close the doors? It's too noisy. And you can advise Haribol. उनको advise करो अंदर बैठ के सुन ले वो. You can log in inside and watch it there. Fine. Okay, so creation during the day of Brahma, like this. Please read the last 5-6 lines. What are the, he said to be creator of the 3 worlds, Patal Lok, Bhuvar Lok, and Swarg Lok. And then still higher planets such as Mahal Lok, Tapalok, Satyalok, Brahmalok do not dissolve in the devastating water. This is because the causes devotion service like this. Existence continues up to the end of Dvi Prarabdha time. Okay. Text number 10, fine. Let's do the next one. Text number 10. Now, Vidurji asked a question here when the time of creation began. He asked a question. Vidurvacha yatat bahurupasya hare adbhuta karmana kalakhyam lakshanam brahman yata varnayana Prabhu. He's asked a question about time now. Yes, go ahead.
Vidura inquired from Maitre, O my lord, O greatly learned sage, kindly describe eternal time, which is another form of the Supreme Lord, the wonderful actor. What are the symptoms of that eternal time? Please describe them to us in detail.
Please read the purport.
The complete universe
time
is
the concept of time. Actually, there is hardly any. Have you ever studied time? कौन सी क्लास में सिखाया तेरे? मतलब क्या मेरा मतलब है कब पढ़ा टाइम के बारे में? Science doesn't talk about time. And now please read the purport.
The complete universe is a manifestation of varieties of entities, beginning from the atom up to the gigantic universe itself, and all is under the control of the Supreme Lord in his form of Kala or eternal time. The controlling time has different dimension in relation to particular physical embodiments. There is a time of atomic dissolution and the time of the universe dissolution. There is a time for the annihilation of the body of the human being, and there is a time for the annihilation of the universal body. Also, growth, development, and resultant actions all depend on the time factor. Vidura wanted to know in detail the different physical manifestations and their times of annihilation.
Just like when a child is born, he's been ascribed with a birth date. And if you meet a good astrologer, he would also say what is the lifespan, which means time of his birth and time of his destruction is fixed. Similarly, the time of the birth of the universe and time of the destruction of the universe is also fixed. And therefore, our scriptures talk about it. What is the duration of, or for how long this creation would last like this. So everything has been fixed for that. Text number 11, Maitreya Vacha. Maitreya Vacha gunavyati karakaro nirvishesho pratisthitaha purushastat upadanam atmanam lilyasa srajat. Lilya srajat. Creation. Yes, go ahead.
Maitreya said, eternal time is the primeval source of the interaction of the 3 modes of material nature. It is unchangeable and limitless, and it works as the instrument of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his pastime in the material creation.
So it is the primeval source. We discussed about the creation thing, Sarga part. It is under the influence of Kala when 3 modes begin to mix with each other. And that's how the creation begins. Let's read this little technical purport but at least we can read one purport, not all. Let's read on this one purport. The Prabhupada speaks about time. And let's hear from our scientist devotees. What do you understand by it? Okay? Metaphysical nature of the time. Please read.
Perfect. The impersonal time factor is the background of the material manifestation as the instrument of the Supreme Lord. It is the ingredient of assistance offered to material nature. No one knows where time began and where it ends, and it is a time only which can keep a record of the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material manifestation. This time factor is the material cause of creation and is therefore a self-expansion of the personality of Godhead. Time is considered the impersonal feature of the Lord. The time factor is also explained by modern man in various ways. Some aspect is almost as it is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. For example, in Hebrew literature, time is accepted in the same spirit as the representation of God. It is stated therein, God, who at sundry time and in diverse manners speak in time past unto the fathers by the prophets. Metaphysically, time is distinguished as absolute and real. Absolute time is continuous and is unaffected by the speed or slowness of the material thing. Time is astronomically and mathematically calculated in relation to the speed, change, and life of particular object. Factually, however, time has nothing to do with the of with the relativities of things. Rather, everything is shaped and calculated in terms of the facility offered by time. Time is the basic measurement of the activity of our senses, by which we calculate past, present, and future, but in factual calculation. Time has no beginning and no end. Pandit Chanakya said that even a slight fraction of a time cannot be purchased with millions of dollars, and therefore even a moment of time lost without profit must be calculated as the greatest loss in life. Time is not subject to any form of psychology, nor as the movement objective realities in themselves, but they are dependent on particular experiences. Therefore, Sri Jiva Goswami concludes that the time factor is intermixed with the activities, actions, and reactions of the external energy of the Lord. The external energy or material natures work under the superintendence of the time factor as the Lord Himself, and that is why material nature appears to have produced so many wonderful things in the cosmic manifestation. Bhagavad Gita 9.2 confirms these conclusions as follows. Can you read this?
Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharachana hetuna nena kanteya jagat viprari vartate. I'll quote Mahabharata, Vidurji in Stri Parva, while speaking to Dhritarashtra. Stri Parva is post the war. Stri Parva is a dedicated section of Mahabharata where now there is nobody remaining except for the ladies. And they all are mourning and grieving at the loss of all the men at the battlefield. And there, now he is speaking to Dhritarashtra. While looking at Dhritarashtra, he says, Kalaha pachati bhuta. I guess very simple words, we all can repeat. Yesterday only I was reading Mahabharata. So, Kalaha pachati bhutani. मतलब सब पचा लेता है. और किसको पचाता है? भूतानी. मतलब जीव जंतुओं को. खाने वाला कौन है जीव जंतुओं को? काला. So the form in the chapter 11, the universal form that was shown by the Lord is said to be Kala Rupa. There, Duryodhana saw everyone, Arjuna saw everyone going in the mouth of the Lord. That is Kala Rupa. Okay. Kalaha pachati bhutani. Kalaha sangrate prajaha. संग्रते मतलब संहार करना. किसका? प्रजा. Which means प्रजा का मतलब होता है who is born. प्रजा मतलब one who is born. So it destroys everything that takes birth. All right. Kalaha supteshu jagrati. Time is awake even when everyone is asleep. Kalaha supteshu jagrati. Kalo hi durati kramaha. हे धृतराज, इसलिए कहा गया है कालो ही द्रुति क्रमः, मतलब टाइम इज insurmountable. You cannot bypass time or overcome the influence of it. Which means, what is he trying to tell Dhritarashtra? Can anyone guess? Three Parva. Through this verse, he is trying to console everyone. Death is for certain, whoever is born. Time is going to bring us closer to our destruction. So don't grieve, accept the reality. You were living your life as if nobody's going to die, but this is the reality. Time is insurmountable. There is no point of crying and grieving about the fact that all of us have to die. Your relatives will die. That was already ordained. That's the nature of this world. All right. Okay, moving forward. This is done. Text number 12. So Kala is what? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Kalosmi. It is my energy. Vishvam vai brahma tanmatram samsthitam Vishnu mayaya Ishvarena parichinnam kalena vyaktamurtina. Kalena avyaktamurtina, which is nothing but the unmanifested form of the Lord, the impersonal feature of the Lord. That's the point here. Okay. Now, text number 13. Yatidanim tatagre cha pashadapi edadidrusham. This cosmic manifestation is as it is now. It was the same in the past. Will continue the same way in the future. Please read the puppets.
This cosmic manifestation is as it is now. It was the same in the past, and it will continue in the same way in the future.
Puppet, Prabhu.
Oh, sorry. There is a systematic schedule for the potential manifestation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material world, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhuta graham imam krishnam
avasham prakate vasata. Very interesting. There is a systematic schedule. We can't do anything. So this all, the thing that they talk about, oh, meteor will come and one day collide with the earth, would collapse everything. We have to create a space army. We have to find a solution. These are nothing but just a means to keep us distracted. Because this world is what? Is highlighted with fear. If you promote fear consciousness, if you see everything is governed by fear, even at the beginning stages, your bhakti is governed by fear. If you break regulatory principles, you will get falana dikana punishment. And yeah, everything in this world is governed by fear. But we should not practice bhakti on the platform of fear. In the beginning, it is needed because that is how this world functions. So if you do this, you'll gain this. If you don't do this, if you do other thing, you will suffer like this. That's how the scripture says, like this. In the beginning, it's okay. Well, later on, we have to rise over this whole consciousness of I am. So how the fear consciousness largely because of bodily consciousness. As much as you are in bodily consciousness, to that much degree, you'll be affected by the fear, like this. Otherwise, what is papa or what is punya on the platform of soul? Of course, I'm extending the idea. That's not my subject today. But what is papa and punya for the soul? That papa, punya, among the 5 subject matter, what is temporary? Ishvara, Jiva, Kal, Karma, Prakriti. What is temporary? It is karma. It is karma. And that karma only creates a fear. So what is good and what is pious, impious action for the soul? Nothing. But because we are living in the world, we are heavily conditioned by it. So that fear is there for us to amend ourselves. That's the impetus like that. Okay, so yeah, continue reading the puppet.
As it is created now, and as it will be destroyed later on, so also it existed in the past and again will be created, maintained, and destroyed in due course of time. Therefore, the systematic activities of the time factor are perpetual and eternal and cannot be stated to be false. The manifestation is temporary and occasional, but it is not false as claimed by a Mayavadi philosopher.
Sarganava vidastasya prakrato vaikratastu yah kaladravya gunerasya trividhapati sankramaha. So 9 kinds of creations and 3 kinds of annihilation are being described here. So let's take a look at the purport. The last 4 to 5 lines. At present, only preliminary information is given. So this subject matter would be discussed in 11th chapter at large. Here, just an introduction is given. The 3 kinds of annihilation. First, due to scheduled time of the annihilation of the entire universe. Second, due to fire which emanates from the mouth of Ananta. And third, which means at the end of Brahma's day. And third, due to one's qualitative actions and reaction, which means as per karma, which is called as death. Death, first, which is called Nitya. Second is called as Prakrita. And third is called as Naimatika. These are the 3 destructions are described here. Now, what is the creation? Text number 15. Adyastu mahata sargo guna veshmayam atmanaha dvityastu ahamo yatra dravya jnana kriyodaya. Translation, please.
Of the 9 creation, the first one is the creation of the Mahatattva, or the sum total of material ingredients, wherein the modes interact due to the presence of the Supreme Lord. In the second, the false ego is generated, in which the material ingredients, material knowledge, and material activities arise.
I actually should have had the presentation here. Okay, fine. But you all remember the chart which we have seen it before? How Mahatattva, from Mahatattva, what happens next? All these steps are said to be different stages of creation. That is what we describe. All you remember or no? Nonetheless, I'll send it on the WhatsApp group later on. You can see that. And if you want that time, you can do it. I don't have handed on because I don't have my laptop with me. This is someone else's. So I don't have my notes right now. Text number 16. Prabhu, continue reading the translation up to the 17th verse. Please go ahead.
Okay. The sense perceptions are created in the third creation, and from these the elements are generated. The fourth creation is the creation of knowledge and of working capacity.
These are the consecutive steps of the creation. Go ahead.
The fifth creation is that of the controlling deities by the interaction of the mode of goodness, of which the mind is the sum total. The sixth creation is the ignorant darkness of the living entities, by which the master act as a fool.
All right. So those are the subject matter discussed in this particular purport. Text number 18.
All the above are natural creation by the external energy of the Lord. Now hear from me about the creation by Brahma, who is an incarnation of the mode of passion, and who is the matter of creation, has a brain like that of the personality of Godhead.
So 9 creations are mentioned. So up to now, 6 creations have been discussed. That is part of Sarga. The 7th, 8th, and 9th is part of Visarga, the 3 steps. I have often given this example in the past also whenever we have spoken Sarga. Sarga and Visarga is what? Sarga is like you own the land, and now on that land you want to build a community or society. So what you do, you hire a builder, you provide him raw materials, he gets a labor force, and he builds a society. But to whom does it belong? To the you can say the original person. You can call the landowner, whatever it is. He's the one who's supplying you the money, raw material, everything. That's the concept here. Now let's take a look at the secondary creation, which is the subject matter of the rest of the verses. Text number 19. Saptamo mukhya sargastu shadvidastashtusham chaya vanaspati oshadhi lata tvakshara virudho drumaha. 7th creation.
The 7th creation is that of the immovable entities, which are of 6 kinds: the fruit trees without flowers, trees and plants which exist until the fruit is ripe, creepers, 5 plants, creepers which have no support, and a tree with flowers and fruits.
So now is about the creation of trees have been described. Next shloka also speaks on the same thing. Go ahead.
All the immovable trees and plants seek their substance upwards.
Which means they get their nourishment by growing upward. You've seen it? Have you seen trees? Pretty interesting now. They'll grow upward first of all. They grow from the ground going against the gravity. And then you've seen many of the trees, their branches are not downward like this. The branches are upwards. Not only branches are upward, when they have further sub branches where the leaves are there, that is also not downward, that is also upward. So this is a particular kind of living entity which is being discussed here, and they derive their nourishment upwards. Go ahead.
They are almost unconscious but have a feeling of pain within. They are manifested in variegatedness.
So you can say in one way, this is the lowest of the species where you have consciousness to the very minimal level. Text number 21, eighth type of creation. Tirasham ashtamah sarga so ashtavimsh vido mataha avido bhuritamaso grahanagnya hridi avedinaha. Yes.
The eighth creation is that of the lower species of life, and they are of different varieties, numbering 28. They are all extensively foolish and ignorant. They know they are desirable by smell, but are unable to remember anything within the heart.
So Prabhupada quotes a verse and describes what it is in the purport. Low animals have knowledge only of their hunger and thirst. Lower animals only have the knowledge of their hunger and thirst. And this is what happens to a man also in Anamaya consciousness. A child only has knowledge of hunger and thirst. So wherever he puts his hand, takes it up and puts it in his mouth. Only has the knowledge of hunger and thirst. They have no acquired knowledge, no vision. Their behavior exhibits no dependence on formalities. Extensively ignorant. They can know their desirables only by smell. And by such intelligence, only can they understand what is favorable and unfavorable. The knowledge is concerned only with eating and sleeping. Therefore, even the most ferocious lower animals such as tigers can be tamed simply by regularly supplying meals and accommodations for sleeping. Only snakes cannot be tamed by such an arrangement. It's a very important point here. So human species said to be the advanced species only if they have been offered training. If the training is not offered, you will remain an animal. Yes or no? Now, these animals which have been discussed here, although they could be as ferocious as lion and tiger, can easily be tamed. How can they be tamed? If they are provided a regular supply of food and sleep, which means aha nidra bhaya mathunam. If that is taken care, then they can be easily controlled. And that is how you are controlled by the government today. They control your ahar, nidra, bhaya, mathunam. So if they want to tighten you up, they'll say there is a lack of food supply. You become restless. They create an environment of fear where you cannot even sleep properly. That's it. Look what is, this is how the world is managed and organized today. Now, what was the Vedic culture? What was it about before? Everyone had their own land. They grew their crops. There was no dependence on third party. So now when that is guaranteed, food security is there, you can really focus on your growth. Therefore, if you look at it, I don't want to make it a political point here, but it's a very important point. Not a political point, but concerning the today's society. For example, yesterday I had a meeting with our CSF team for the upcoming program. So they have taken me on a tour to show the facility and all the security things. So there, the DC, which they call it, what do you call it? Commissioner, something they call it, deputy commissioner, something, like they call it, DC or AC, I believe. So when we were, so he had invited, so we were having a meeting like this. Hey, we were having a discussion on the security. I was learning about what are the different security models our country has: CSF, CRPF, IT, BP, BSF. मुझे लगा BSF आर्मी थी पहले. मुझे कभी पता चला BSF is not an army like that. Anyways, that was not the point. Go Ranga. That was not the point. The point here is, थोड़ा मैं भूल गया distraction में. No, what I was saying? The point which I was making was, Nidra Bhai. So why did I quote it security example here? Can be tamed simply by regularly supplying meals and accommodation. I just lost the whole point suddenly. Sorry, I got distracted. Anyways, coming back to the purport again, the point mentioned in the purport is about that how animals, although ferocious animals like lions and tigers can easily be controlled, by restricting or providing their food supply, which is largely ahar nidra. Biomethanol is an extension of it. It's just part of basic human needs. So the point I was trying to make is, look what has happened today. They have tried their best to control the food supply. Earlier, there was no concept of food supply. Everyone grew their own crops. Whatever they wanted to have it. Otherwise, they'll have a barter system. Government ka koi role hi nahi tha. Oh, the point I was trying to make was this. Why at large, if you've ever pondered about it, although of course, modern day Hinduism, what we call it, have had its own share of mistakes, whatever you call caste issue, whatnot. Okay, people make mistakes, then they can be reformed. But why at the large part of this, if you see the ecosystem, is against this particular mindset of Hinduism? Largely, they want to promote Abrahamic ideology. Although this mindset of what you call as modern Hinduism has, even up to today, has never ever posed existential threat to anyone else around. Rather, they have only adopted and accepted others from different faith. If you look at the history, have you ever pondered about it? What this particular faith or lifestyle have done, it has not created any existential crisis for anyone. It has only supported and extended himself to accommodate others, and it has allowed others to follow their lifestyle. It is not that somebody has imposed. It's not the Hindus are going around converting people. Have you ever heard about this? At the max, if anything which is happening, again, I'm not making a political statement, but I'm telling you what's happening in society. At the max, what they would have done, they have done ghar wapsi. Yes, this is what they call it. But just think about it in the political arena. If you think about it, why this particular mindset has been put into its existential threat now? Everyone was like, no, this issue, but it has never ever done anything. It's the Muslims who invaded countries. It's not Hindus who went abroad and did something. So they talk about kafir, they talk about knights, they talk about terrorism. Okay, the Christians and Islam had an issue. They had their knights going and attacking the Middle East countries and converting them to Muslims. So they say Muslim retaliated from the peace-loving society. Okay, you retaliated. So there was a problem there. Where in history you know of that any ruler from this land of Bharat ever went to Middle East and attacked, ever went to Europe and attacked? Forget about that. It never even went to China. It never even went to China. Why? So there's a more within it what it looks like. The idea is that this whole philosophy or the mindset or the lifestyle which is here, it allows you to live your life as you want to be. You cannot easily, if you talk about the vote bank, I mean, I have always wondered, despite being in a majority, all the vote bank comes from minority. Have you seen that? Isn't it? This is what the politics and I talk about it. So the reason only for that is because this people of this lifestyle, what you call as modern Hinduism at large, loosely, cannot be easily controlled. And among all of them, the most dangerous species or the mindset for such people who want to control everyone are the Brahmanas. Who are the Brahmanas? They are the free thinkers. They would just not align to anyone and everyone. They will do what they want to do. So therefore, to bring Brahmanas together on the same table is always a battle. But now to bring people, lions and tigers can be controlled when you restrict their food supply. So now you can bring people. So that's how the whole particle system is working today. Control the food supply, control the economic security or financial security. You control all of that. So whoever you are, you have to bow down to their system. And everyone can be brought under control, not for the higher good, only for the exploitation. Is it making some sense? Getting some clues how this whole functions works? Text number 22. All right, Prabhu, you can keep reading now up to text number 26. These are about different species which are part of the creation. Text number 22 onwards.
O purest Vidura, of the lower animals, the cow, goat, buffalo, Krishna, stag, hog, Gavaya animal, deer, lamb, and camel, all have two hooves. 23rd. The horse, mule, ass, Gauraha, Sarbaha, Bishan, and the wild cow all have only one hoof. Now you may hear from me about the animals who have 5 nails. Text 24. The dog, jackal, tiger, fox, cat, rabbit, sajura, lion, monkey, elephant, tortoise, alligator, goshapa, etc. all have 5 nails in their claws. They are known as pancha nakahas, or animals having 5 nails. Text 25. The the heron, vulture, crane, hawk, bhasha, bhaluka, peacock, swan, sarasaha, chakravakaha, crow, owl, and others are the birds. Text 26. The creation of the human beings, who are one of the species only and who stock their eatables in the belly, is the ninth in the rotation. In the human race, the mode of passion is very prominent. Humans are always busy in the midst of miserable life, but they think themselves happy in all respect.
Hare Krishna. This was text number
26.
26. All right. I mean, you all know human beings more than I know, right? In fact, I also know. So we don't have to discuss much on this. The glories of human beings. Let's go to text number 27. Now, Devatas will be described. The peculiarity of human beings is, although they are suffering, but they are so tolerant in their suffering, they still feel they're enjoying. Is there any animal who in his own suffering enjoys? Camel. इसलिए ऐसे गधों को ऊंट कहा जाता है, मतलब ऐसे मनुष्य को ऊंट कहा जाता है, you know, खर. You see in the scriptures again and again. All right, continue.
Text 27. O good Vidura, these last 3 creations and the creation of demigods, the 10th creation, are Vikatra creations, which are different from the previously described Prakriti, natural creations. The appearance of the Kumaras is both.
All right, text number 28, 29 to 30, I'll read out. The translation of 28 was, the creation of the demigods is of 8 varieties. Demigods, Devas, Pitras, Asuras, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Yakshas or Rakshasas and Akshasas. Siddhas, Charanan, Vidyadharas are the 6th. 7th, the Bhoot, Pret, Pishash. Huh? They're greater than human beings, huh? Therefore, they are above the earthly planetary system. The 1st is Bhoot, Pret, Pishash, and then those Gandharva, that then comes. And 8th is superhuman beings, celestial singers, etc. All are created by Brahma, the creator of the universe. So Superman, Batman, He-Man, She-Man are all part of Brahma's creation. Okay, this is done. The last few lines of the purport of this particular verse. The spirits in Jinn mentioned this connection are also counted among the demigods because they're able to perform uncommon functions not possible for men. And the man of this world is thinking to perform uncommon activity, which is not possible only for them. Text number 30. Finally, Evam Raja Pluta Shashta Kalpadishvatma Bhurharihi Srajati Amoga Sankalpa Atmaivatmanam Atmana. Now I should describe the descendants of the Manu, the creator Brahma, as incarnation of the passion mode of the personality Godhead, creates the universal affairs with unfailing desires in every millennium by the force of the Lord's energy. So chapter number 11 will get into a little technical discussion about those of you who are science lovers would enjoy only if you understand science. Love is not enough. You also should understand the science. If you understand science, then you will be happy about the subject matter which is about to come in your chapter number 11 time. There are some great verses here, which is a subject matter of great research. And then chapter number 12 onwards begins the story part. अभी हो गया सृष्टि. अभी हम प्राचीन काल की कहानियों को पढ़ेंगे. And the first story will start off Kumaras, and then you have many life lessons to learn from it. So one last chapter on science in chapter 11, and then we'll start with that. So just to make a concluding point, again, the puppet where these animals as ferocious as lions and tigers, they have no much sense beyond hunger and thirst is the only need of their life, can very easily be controlled because of regulating the supply. Human beings, if they are intellectual, to that much degree, they will be difficult to tame. You're getting the connection? The human beings. So if you bring the human species or human race on the platform of the animal, it becomes very easy to tame. However, if you allow them to grow to their potential, it becomes very difficult to tame. Now, who is worried about controlling them? The one who himself, the one who is corrupted would not want others to grow and ask a question. Is it kind of making sense? Let's take an for example Hiranyakashi. Let's take an example of any demons. Whenever they'll come in power, the first thing they will destroy was any kind of goodness activity. Along with them, they'll degrade the conscience of everyone in mode of ignorance. Now, if you have people in that conscience and nobody would challenge you, it's very easy to control the society then. Just give them one bottle of wine, give them one bakra, they're happy. And that same psychology continues even today. In certain names of religion, that is what is distributed. There are certain religions are only meant for morcha and patharbaji. And their history from the origin up to today is that's the only story of their life. Patharbaji, patharbaji, patharbaji. Think about it. And they have not done anything good in the society. Yet, all media, everyone talks about them. Why? Because if all of them become like them, then those who want to control and exploit, it becomes very easy for them. It becomes very easy for them like that. Maybe I can make one point here. Now, what's the problem if you give proper education to the society? If you give them proper education, do you see any problem? If I be the leader, would it be a problem for me if my subject gets educated, or it's good for me? What do you think? It's good only for you as long as you want good in the society. But if you want to exploit them, then it is bad for you. Yes or no? If you want to exploit them, then it is bad for you. But if you want good for them, it is then necessary that they get educated. But if you want to exploit them, you can easily exploit them till the time you keep them on animal platform. That is what the whole thing about it. And this is what you can see here. So such individuals would be always against any kind of development. They will not build roads, they will not create facilities, no development project. And they'll use all the money just filling in their bank accounts. All the taxpayers' money go in filling in their own account. I hope you understand the psychology, how it works. That was the issue with Duryodhana. That was the issue with Duryodhana. What adharma was he doing? He would have destroyed Varnashrama Dharma. And therefore Krishna said, no, I've come here to establish Dharma, so Yudhishthira has to be there. Because Duryodhana would have kept people under ignorance so that he can continue to exploit and rule them. And that's what is happening in today's society that way. Hare Krishna. So with that, I kind of pause here on the subject matter. We'll take this discussion next week. Next week is what? 31st is Balaram Jayanti. So not sure Friday morning we'll be back here. If in case Friday morning. And then next week is Krishna Janmashtami. तो लंबी छुट्टी हो जाएगी. Friday is Krishna, no, Prabhupada Appearance Day. Friday morning is Prabhupada Appearance Day. All right, we'll try. Maybe Balaram Jayanti, I guess I should be back and enjoy it in the evening. Friday morning, we'll meet, take the subject matter of time. Any concluding comments? Anyone wish to add? Anyone wants to say anything on the subject matter of what we Prabhupada says here in the puppet? Even the ferocious animals can be easily controlled by regulating their food supply, which means if you keep them only worried about their eating, mating, defending, then it's very easy to control them. But if that problems are eradicated, then that person will create a problem for you because he'll demand more. I need more. Any thoughts onto this? Nitai Pran Prabhu?
Prabhu, not on this particular subject, but I have a question. So maybe if someone wants to share their view on your topic.
Anyone wants to add something on this? Easy to control when you keep them worried about your ahar, nidra, bhaya, mathunam. I guess we already discussed that. Fine. Go ahead, Nitai Prabhu.
Yeah. So Prabhu, my question is mainly based on Lord Brahma. So we like in the last chapter we read that he has recited so many prayers, but he was not in a continuous discussion with his spiritual master, or there is a source of um, I would say the energy that he was there. There wasn't a source of energy that he was getting. So I'm just trying to understand that what was his source of inspiration based on which he's been doing such a wonderful activities of the creation, and then initially the prayers before even starting that activity.
You're talking Brahma. Brahma's
Yeah,
guru is Lord directly. He's born
yeah,
from Lord. He's getting
yeah,
all
but
inspiration from the Lord.
yeah, but he's not in continuous discussion with him, because there is nowhere in this verses we see that where he's been going and asking him. So what's his source of inspiration that he's been
Oh,
doing such a
actually, no, it's not like this. Brahma, for him to find his inspiration, he doesn't have to go and meet Lord face to face. The Lord is residing in the heart of each one of us as Paramatma. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam. So for Brahma to find his inspiration, he's in constant touch with this Paramatma. So in the beginning stages, he needed that external form of the Lord to appear. But once he has awakened himself, now he's on constant touch. For example, Srila Prabhupada, his spiritual master departed, or Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur departed by, I believe, 1936, 37. And it was way later Srila Prabhupada did the whole thing. So from where was he getting his inspiration? To whom was he going and discussing? So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur or Guru is nothing said to be Chaitya external manifestation of Paramatma. At the stature or the advancement of Prabhupada's, at the level of advancement of Prabhupada, he was in constant touch with Paramatma. Being in constant touch with Paramatma, being in constant touch with his spiritual master. And the spiritual master's parampara. And therefore Prabhupada says, when he got heart attack, he saw how, the whole Guru Parampara had come, and the Lord personally appeared, and they guided the ship Jalduta to the shore of Boston. So for us at the Kanishta stage, we need physical presence, which is needed. But Brahma, who is an Uttamadhikari, who have had a direct darshan of the Lord, at that stage, he is in constant touch in the Lord, because Lord is everywhere, and within us also as Paramatma. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, just one more clarification on one of the point that you mentioned in the class, where you said that for the different domains, we need to have a different
Yes.
counselors or the mentors from whom we should get the guidance.
I will not
But
use
how
the
to-
word. I will not use the word counselor. I generally don't like the word counselor because I have my own concern with this whole terminology. Serious concerns, I would rather say. I prefer to use the word either you call mentor or guide.
Okay.
A
So
counselor, because counselor is a professional term. So I would say it's not appropriate. We still continue to use it in our forums. There are family counselors, marriage counselors, so we should call it mentors. Mentors are more appropriate. It doesn't have any professional and legal, binding to it. But counselor, what has a legal binding to it? Yes, go ahead.
So, but how to take it with that point where you in the past mentioned that there should be one relation in the life whom we should never say no. And even the example that you have gave of a military regime
Correct.
where they
So if you want to, for example, you want to learn music, you have to accept a teacher in that domain. And with that one relationship, you can inform, take permission, and take into that activity.
Yeah, but in terms of our spiritual growth, Prabhu, like the spiritual master is the one whom we should always be looking forward and never to say no. But then we do have the different domains where we need the expertise. So
That's what I'm
how to
saying.
take.
For different domain, one person is not going to be jack of all trade. Let's say you need some economic or financial advice. All right, consult with somebody who is a financial don, who knows of it. And for such financial subject matter, you consult with him. But before you begin consulting with him, you can clarify and take permission, or or you can say, or what do you say, recommendation from that one authority or two authorities, that this person, is this the right person for me? They said yes, he's the right person. I know him, and he's going to give you the right advice. Continue working him. Fantastic. But if we somehow do it by ourselves, then it could be a little risky, because the leaders also need to align. For example, you take a financial advice from this individual, or the guru have a plan for you in certain way. Maybe by the age of 50 you should retire, you should do this, and this person from whom you're taking financial advice, who could be done, he says, well, you should work up to 60, save like this, then at the age of 60 you can start your own business. That will give over much money, because they're going to think about money only. So how do you reconcile? So like this has to be worked out. In some domains, you may or may not necessarily have the relationship between the leaders. But actually, for creating a community, this facility needs to be created. There needs to be different individuals who can offer guidance on different domains. And these individuals should come together, should align with the, with, let's say, overall authority. Then it becomes a very harmonious and very smooth growth for an individual. But if all these guides in different domains, they begin to contradict each other, they begin dominating. We have had a case here where somebody was very talented in music, and he was given the role, okay, all right, you can teach. Now he took the role of a music teacher, and he enforced himself also as a spiritual authority, and he started dictating their life. If there is a program scheduled, and if he has scheduled his class, so according to him, service, that is not the service. Learning music is the most important service. You should not go for that program, you should come here. So he took that role. So then it led to a big chaos. Devotees are troubling, Arey, what is this? What do we do? And what happens? You think, Arey, this is also my teacher, this is also my teacher. As a teacher, we should not respect, but what do we do? It's disturbing us. Then again, you have to come back and align with your spiritual authority. Do we really need it or not? We ourselves face this issue. So we have to tell Prabhu, all right, you cannot be part of this community because you're not willing to work. You're not willing to come together. You're trying to take multiple roles at once. You're trying to, destroy the faith of individuals. Like that. Anyways, so, all right.
All right. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the clarity.
Okay, thank you all for joining for today's discussion. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.